What's up, y'all? Just going live real quick. I've been getting a lot of you hitting me up over the last couple weeks. Parvo's been an issue. Fading puppies has been an issue, and also overheating has been a huge issue. So we're gonna go over this real quick because a lot of times when you guys hit me up, I can't. One, I'm old or getting old, I should say. So a lot of what? Hold on, let me share this to my. A lot of what I'm telling you guys when you call me for issues is based off of um, tends to be based off of me going off the top of the head, and I'm not there to see your situation, and I don't really measure things. I kind of go based off of experience, based off experience, and then whatever it is that I'm looking at the moment. So when I'm talking to you guys over the phone and you got these emergencies, a lot of times I'm kind of rushing my thoughts, giving you the basics, and there's details missing. But I know I got one dude, which was sad to hear. He just lost a dog. He hit me up last night. He just lost his dog to parvo today. He had another one, I guess he lost previously last week. But had I known last week, we at least probably could have saved this one. Then I've got two people that have hit me up regarding overheating. Both those dogs seem to be okay. And then fading puppies, I got shoot what one guy actually one guy just got through his about a couple weeks ago, and all those puppies pulled through. And I got another guy dealing with it now. That I've been talking to over the last, I'd say, 2 days. Hey, Sadie, cut it out. So basically, I just want to kind of go over everything when it comes to these issues. When it comes to fading puppy syndrome, um, you are going to need I'm sorry. When it comes to fading puppy syndrome, you're going to need beef liver, you're going to need Caro syrup, and you're going to need colostrum. Hoping you guys can hear me while my neighbor's riding off on his motorcycle. But again, just in case, when it comes to fading puppies, you're going to need beef liver, you're going to need colostrum, and you're going to need Caro syrup. And what you want to do when you notice those puppies are weak, then, and I think the heat, I'm not sure, you guys need to make sure with your pups that you're keeping them at a steady temperature. I can't really see the comments because I'm on my phone and my eyes ain't that great. But okay, I see Christopher Joseph. What's up, man? Thanks for joining in. But so I'm just going to run through this. This will be 5 to 10 minutes and then that's it. But when it comes to fading puppies and you notice they're not eating, they seem weak. The very first thing that you want to do, you want to make sure you have your beef liver. You want to make sure you have colostrum ready to go, and you want to make sure that that between your beef liver and your colostrum and your Caro syrup, Caro's Karo, and you want to get the one that's clear. So what you want to do is give your beef liver, I'll go over the application first and I'll tell you how to make it. But your beef liver, you want to give 4 drops every 2 hours for about a 12-hour period. Then you want, after 12 hours, you want to give 4 drops every 4 hours. Once the pup is stable, then you want to continue giving it every four drops every 4 hours for another 12 hours. That's how you want to do your beef liver. As far as your colostrum, you want to mix it in with your puppy's food. The beef liver and the Caro syrup, I just stick my finger in it, wash my hands, stick my finger in it, rub it on the puppy's gums. Just the tip of my finger and rub it on the puppy's gums. In my opinion, I don't know what you guys use as formula for your pups. Caro syrup should be a part of your formula anyway. But you want to I just take my finger, bam, I rub it on the puppy's gums, give them that real quick boost of energy. I give them the beef liver water, and then I try feeding them. The colostrum needs to be mixed in with your puppy formula based off whatever the bag says. And that should pull your pup through fading puppy syndrome. The best way to go about doing it is let's say you got 6 pups. 2 of them seem to be fading. Go ahead, give them the Caro syrup, give them the beef liver water, then feed the rest of your pups. then come back to those 2 pups, because now they should have a little bit more energy. Come back to those 2 pups, and then go ahead and start feeding them with the milk that should have colostrum in it, and that should handle your pups. Again, with the next thing that's been popping up a lot is parvo. If you can't get to the vet for whatever reasons, I've never used a vet for parvo, but with parvo, again, you want to have your colostrum, you want to have your beef liver water, you want to have Pepto, and you want to have Pedialyte, and you want to have ginger powder. Ginger powder is to help with the nausea. You're just going to dip your finger in it, wet it, dip your finger in it, rub it on the puppy's gums. You're going to do that about every 2 hours, okay? When it comes to the Pedialyte, you're going to give your dog, I would say about 3 milliliters of Pedialyte for every 10 pounds. You're going to be giving your dog that every 1 hour, okay? Then the colostrum, mix in with the dog's food. You should be giving it something bland. It probably won't eat it if it's bad. Make sure it's something bland like chicken broth and rice, something like that. You can even get chicken meat in there. Hopefully the dog will take it, but make sure it's bland. And with the Pepto, you're going to give about, I know with terriers, I would do about a half a teaspoon for every 5 pounds. So we're talking bullies, you're looking at about 1 teaspoon for every 10 pounds of dog for Pepto. You want to build it up to the point where you're only giving the Pepto every 6 hours. The dog might be throwing it up. So if it's throwing it up, then you're just going to give it to it every about every 2 to 3 hours, okay, for the Pepto. Once you can get the pup where it's holding it down, then you're going to do it every 6 hours. The beef liver water, you do it the exact same way that you do with the fading puppy, except for the fact that you're going to be doing it for a longer period. But once the dog is stable, then again, you go about for another 12 hours, and then you should be good on the beef liver water. When it comes to making beef liver water, you just want to get raw beef liver. You're gonna put it in a thing of water. Make sure it's a little pot, skillet, whatever it is. Doesn't need to be a lot of water. Don't put the top on the water. You want it to be more concentrated. So let the water evaporate out of it. Not all of the water, just until it's boiled. Once it boils, you're gonna take the beef liver out. Save that for the mom, especially for fading puppies. Save that beef for the moms. And then you're gonna take when you're applying the beef liver, you're just gonna let it cool, and then you're gonna get about 4. You're gonna give the pup about 4 drops every 2 hours, in the same manner that I said. You're gonna do the same thing for parvo though, because you want to give the pup that boost. You're gonna also use the Cairo syrup for parvo because you want to give the pup that boost. As far as storing the beef liver water, once it's cooled off, you've given it to the pup. Get those little the ice trays with the rubber. Get those the rubber ice trays. Get the ones that hold the smallest amount possible, because you want to put about 4 drops in each one of those. Put that in the freezer, let it freeze, and then when you need it again in 2 hours, you're just gonna pop it out, let it thaw, put it in the freezer bag, let it thaw. But you're not gonna do 4 drops in your ice tray. You're gonna do 5 to 6 drops. I would say just do 5, because you're not gonna be able to get it all out of the freezer bag that you use to thaw it out. So you want to do about 5 drops. And then you're going to apply that to the pup when it comes to parvo. Now, when it comes to parvo, you're going to do the average dog. So this is what you're going to have to gauge on your own. When it comes to newborn pups, you're doing 4 drops every 2 hours. When it comes to older dogs and you need a boost from beef liver water, you're doing 2 tablespoons every 2 hours. So based off the age and size of your dog, that's how you want to gauge it, from 4 drops to 2 tablespoons. There's never going to be a reason to do more than 2 tablespoons. There's never going to be a reason to do less than 4 drops. So you kind of got to gauge that on your own. But that's what you got to do when it comes to parvo. The Pepto, you're looking at about, I'm not sure if I said it already, but you're looking at about, I think I did say it. With the Pepto, you want to do half a teaspoon for every 10 pounds of dog. okay? You want to get it to the point where you're doing, and you want to do that every 6 hours. As long as you're doing that, you get the Peptos to stop the diarrhea. You can also, in the Pedialyte, you want to do about 3 milliliters every hour, 45 minutes to an hour. The Pedialyte to stop the dehydration. What kills your dog is dehydration and the diarrhea. So the Pepto is going to help you stop it. The ginger powder, dipping your finger in that, rubbing it on the dog's gums, that's going to help you stop the nausea that the dog gets that's causing it to throw up. Another thing with parvo is there tends to be bleeding. That's usually what makes the poop stink and the diarrhea stink real bad, is the blood that's mixed in with it. So another thing with the parvo, go ahead and if you don't have access to antibiotics, go ahead, you can order fish flex or fish mox. Now, based off where you live, it may be illegal. In Florida, they were doing illegal lip injections and butt injections, and then using fish mox as the antibiotic. So based off where you live, be careful what you tell your vet. But with fish mox, it's regular amoxicillin. The only thing that changes on it but it's for fish tanks. The only thing that changes on it is when it gets sent to dogs, fish tanks, or people, the serial number on it changes. So when it comes to fish mox, you can go ahead and use it. For my terriers, I would use 250 milligrams for terriers. So with your dog and you've got parvo and you're dealing with parvo, you want to start it off just a little bit, and you got to be careful. So open it up, take the powder out, take about half the powder, and then apply that. And you want to give that to the dog about every, I'd say, 3 to 4 hours. And this is all you need, is a basic boost in the immune system from the amoxicillin, from the fish mox. But you can get fish mox quick. You can get it's 50 to 100 of them for like $12 online with no problems. Now remember, in some states it's illegal to use. So if you do take your dog to the vet and they ask you if you've been using any amoxicillin or anything, then you just want to go ahead and let them know like it was something that you already had. You know what I mean? Because fish mox is illegal in some states and some counties. Other than that, that should get you through fading puppy syndrome. That should get you through parvo. The other thing with parvo is keep your area clean. You already know, most of you should already know, everything's got to be cleaned up real good, bleach, whatever it is you use to sanitize. But make sure that you're wiping the pup down real good and keeping the dog clean. Here's another thing with parvo. For whatever reasons, and this is something that's known, especially in the working dog community with a lot of us old heads, and that's why a lot of us are hesitant when it comes on vaccinations. But when it comes to your parvo vaccination, approximately 30% of the dogs that have been vaccinated with parvo end up dying. Okay, if they get parvo and if they've been vaccinated plus they get parvo, for whatever reasons, about 30% of them, only 60% of them survive. Yet, for whatever strange reason, those dogs that have not been vaccinated and get parvo, almost 90% of them survive. So that's something to think about with your older dogs and you're still getting their shots and all that stuff. I got homies that once their dog hits 8 weeks old, they don't register them no more. They write them off as if they were dead, and they no longer get their shots for registration. That's something that's up to you and how you handle your business. But think about that when it comes to parvo, when it comes to us vaccinating our dogs. I pretty much stopped vaccinating dogs after about 7 to 8 years. I used to stop as soon as they retired from working. But the reason was because we noticed when we're hunting that none of these animals have been vaccinated. You know what I mean? And a lot of what is done through vaccination is more keeping track of who has what dogs and how many. And then they just throw vaccinations on top of the registration. So we do vaccinate our dogs way too frequently. When it comes to overheating, you need Pedialyte, you need Pedialyte, you need lemon juice, and you need rubbing alcohol. If you've got those three things and you're on top of it, you should be good. You know when your dog should not be panting. You know when your dog should be panting based off of what your dog was doing prior to it. So when it comes to overheating, first thing you want to do, and like I've told you guys before, coming home from the Cinco de Mayo show, we pulled over because it was a guy, he had his XL pulled over on the freeway. It was overheating. So I keep those things with me. If I leave the house and I know it's hot, I keep those things with me, especially since I have a bully now. She's never needed it. She does pretty good in the heat, actually extremely good. All our dogs do pretty good in the heat and 100 plus degrees. But when it comes to overheating, first thing you want to do is get your dog out the heat, first and foremost. Next thing you want to do is clear the lungs. And the way you do that is by squirting lemon juice. If you can't find the little yellow bottles of lemon juice, get the regular bottle of lemon juice, the little yellow bottles that look like a lemon. But if you can't find that, then get the regular bottle of lemon juice and get a syringe that you can squirt. When your dog is overheating and is panting, you want to squirt that in the dog's mouth. By squirting it in the dog's mouth, you're clearing out that foam, not only in its mouth, but also in its throat, because it's sour. So it forces the dog to swallow it and help clear its throat. Next thing you want to do is give Pedialyte. You want to get the inside of the dog cooled off. You want to get Pedialyte. I've never used it. I always use the clear bottle of Pedialyte, but I've heard that and the Pedialyte, you want to apply it the same way I told you about the Parvo. But I've heard with Pedialyte, the best one, I think there's a something plus. It's like a better version of Pedialyte. I forget what it's called, and I want to say it's a blue one. Don't give the red one. They tend to have flavor. Red things tend to have flavors that dogs don't like. So use the blue one. If you can't find that, then at least just get the clear one and apply the same amount. Give the dog the same amount that I told you when you're dealing with Parvo. But I would say when you're overheating, you want to do it about every 15 to 30 minutes. You want to get the fluids in the dog's system. Now, when it comes to overheating, you squirt at the mouth with the lemon juice. You want to do that as long as you notice that there's foam, any foam in the mouth. You want to squirt lemon juice. You want to give the dog the Pedialyte. You want to take the rubbing alcohol and you want to rub it in the armpits of the dogs. Do not get, especially with your males, do not get the rubbing alcohol on their balls, but get it as high on the thighs as you can without getting it to the height of his balls or his genitalia. But get the insides of the legs, the paws, behind the ears, the back of the head. You want to put rubbing alcohol all in there good with your hands. Get it soaked. Rubbing alcohol evaporates extremely fast, so therefore it pulls a lot of the heat away from your dog. And then from there, with the rubbing alcohol, the Pedialyte, and the lemon juice, your dog should cool off. The next thing, if you have a bowl and you can get a hold of ice, first thing is take a damp cloth and start rubbing the dog down always go with the fur first and then against the fur. Going with the fur gives your dog's body time to adjust to the cold, and then go up against the fur. It doesn't need to be super soaked. You don't want it super soaked. Just get it ice cold cloth, wring it out, and rub the dog down with it. If you can, get you a bowl full of ice. You're not going to put it on the dog. What you're going to do is keep that by the dog's mouth. If your dog is sitting up, hold it by the dog's mouth while you're watching. So that way the dog is inhaling as cool of air as possible. If the dog is weak and he's laying down, pour the ice out in front of the dog's mouth. His mouth is open, he's panting. Pour the ice in a pile right in front of his mouth. That way he's, again, inhaling cooler air. You don't want to douse the dog with super cold water because, according to Google and a lot of people, they say it sends the dog into shock. Now, I've seen dogs, they weren't mine at the time that we were hunting. It was two beagles overheating, and the dude just took a bucket of ice water, poured it on, and it worked. I'm not saying do that because, like I said, according to Google and breeders, it'll send your dog into shock. But I personally have never seen a dog go into shock from that, and I've been through that several times where I've seen somebody doing that. I'm not saying do that, but what you can do with the ice is put it in front of them. Then put it in front of where they're breathing, like I said, and then take cubes, rub that on the butthole of the dog. Rub it along the dog, especially the snout, the head. Those are the most frustrating areas for a dog, and that cause the most panic. The back of the head, the top of the head, snout. And in that way, the dog doesn't go into shock, but the coolness helps him cool off. You can even take ice cubes and rub them along the back right along the spine, just to help them cool off. If you do those things, your dog should survive parvo, should survive fading puppy syndrome, should survive overheating. The main thing is about being prepared, though. You need to have these items on deck and ready for these situations. Now, the next thing, as far as being prepared, that also, right now, if your dog is perfectly healthy, it's hot. It's hot in every state right now. Start taking your dogs out in the heat. Just take them out in the heat, chill with them. Tonight, when it cools off, take your dog for a long enough walk that it starts to pant. The minute you see it panting from the walk, not excitement, but from the walk, from exertion, head back home. When you get home, don't give your dog water. Wait for 5 minutes. Let him cool off in the yard on his own so that he gets used to what it feels like to recover. A lot of people do not work their dogs, so therefore, and do not condition their dogs, so therefore their dogs don't know what it feels like to recover. And what they do is I should have shaved. My wife told me to shave before I went and did this. But anyway, what happens is the dogs panic. So between the overheating and then the panicking, because your dog has never been through any type of recovery phase of anything, that's what kills your dog. So start exercising your dogs. Get them used to the heat. My dogs are out. Even King. King's one of the, y'all know, he's one of the biggest XLs it is. But King's out in 100-degree weather with no issues. You have to get your dog used to that. You know what I'm saying? Always make sure you got misters or shades or whatever you can provide to cool with them, to keep them cool, and then keep your eye on them. But you want to get your dog used to what it feels like to be hot. And you want to get your dog used to what it feels like to recover. So again, tonight, whether you got an exotic, an XL, whatever it is you got, because I'm in both communities a lot, take your dog out for a walk. Once it starts panting, bring it home. If it's your normal walk, then you just do your normal walk. But when you bring it home, don't let it get water right away. Let it go through about 5 minutes. A dog that's in shape takes about 5 minutes after a hard workout to recover, 5 to 8 minutes to recover. A dog that's out of shape takes about 8 to 13 minutes to recover. And when I say recover, I mean able to go back and do what it was previously doing. If you're just taking your dog for a walk, give it 5 minutes, because what happens is you get home and you stop the walk. The body continues to overheat. Your dog's going to feel itself overheating. It will start to panic and get uncomfortable. You know that the dog is good. Wait 5 minutes and give it water so it can cool off. What you're teaching your dog to do is be patient during that recovery process. But I just wanted to get that out there because there's been a lot of people's dogs dying, whether it's due to parvo, fading puppy, the heat. And it's just funny that it's all happening during the summer. So another thing with your parvo, some of you guys live in states where it spreads real fast during the summers. Keep up with that. Fading puppies. Some of us, where you're not keeping track of the temperatures, and I'm assuming that maybe it's getting hotter, so there's more cases of fading puppies. But if you stay on top of these things with what I said, you should be straight. Mr. J, what's up, brother? What's up, Betsy? Thanks for joining in. Christopher, thanks for joining in. But you should be straight if you stay on top of those things. But again, be prepared. Have the products that I named so that you can use them when you need them. And then at the same time, start doing more with your dogs. When you know the summertime is coming, start getting your dog prepared for the summer, and get them prepared for those recovery phases. So that way, when you go to a show and your dog is hot, he's good. And then at the same time, let's say you show dogs and it's in an air-conditioned place, but the dog just came out the heat. Well, your dog may not perform as well. But if you've been getting your dog used to the heat and everything, he's going to go in that air conditioning and blow it out the water. You see what I'm saying? So start preparing your dogs for the summers. And also breeders. Some of you intentionally breed dogs that can't survive summers. And we get one summer every year, okay? And I'm not saying that you're intentionally breeding dogs that die during the summer, but you're intentionally breeding the types of dogs that can't survive summers. So you got to stop that. Hopefully you've got enough dogs in your yard where you can notice there are some dogs in your yard that do better in the heat than others do. Those are the dogs you should be breeding. It's like breeding dogs that are allergic to grass. No dog should be bred if it's allergic to grass. I don't care about Benadryl and all that stuff. Stop doing that to this breed. So when it comes to the breeders, if you got dogs that overheat easily, You can look at them and tell. I'm not going to describe you guys as dogs, but y'all can look at them and tell. You know what you're looking at, but you're so fascinated in having this wow factor in your dog that you're breeding dogs that can't make it during basically the summer. And you got one summer coming, and these summers are getting hotter and hotter. And then you're having a litter of 4, 5, 10, 12 puppies, and you're giving them out. And I guarantee a lot of you guys aren't even like the people that got dogs from us, they got the same thing that I just went over. They got all that in a printed out instruction thing, just so that they know what to do. I know a lot of you breeders ain't doing that. So quit breeding dogs that don't survive and can't survive hot summers. If your dogs have to be in during the heat, and you take during the heat, and when you take them out, you can see they're struggling right off the bat. But your Chihuahua or whatever it is that grew up with your bully isn't struggling, you need to stop breeding that bully and start breeding better dogs. And sometimes better doesn't fit in with what everybody wants. But if you start breeding correctly, you can get to the point where you're breeding those dogs. What's happening is people are jumping to all this mass. You breeding these short legs, so the dog's already lower to the hot ground, which makes them even hotter. You're breeding for all this mass, short legs, compactness, all this stuff generates more heat. If you can breed the dogs correctly, the dogs that do well in the heat, and then slowly start applying your mass and your bone and all that other stuff, you will find you will have better dogs, and you'll end up having in 3 to 5 generations the dog that you were trying to get off of that one generational breeding. So that's just something for people to think about. I wanted to throw that out there because I'm hearing a lot of sad stories. To those people that I've talked to, and we're still talking, and your dogs are coming through it, salute, stick with it, don't change nothing. Hit me up if you have any questions. You already know that. And to those people who I've talked to and their dogs have actually passed, man, I'm sorry to hear that. I wish I could have known you would have hit me up earlier. But you just got to be careful. Hey, how you doing? You just got to be careful with it. Start taking care of your dogs. Get them out in the heat. Get them exposed to the heat and pay attention to them. Like I've said before, a dog panting is just trying to cool itself off. That's exercise. A dog drooling, the drool is cooling them off. That's conditioning. When the dog's drool starts to turn to foam, at that point, you know that your dog is starting to overheat. And that's when you know whatever you're doing needs to stop and that your dog needs water. Hey, what's up, man? And that's when you know your dog is going to need water. But see, like even right now, it's hot out here, and I got neighbors walking their dogs. There's no reasons our bullies, exotics, pockets, whatever it is you breed, there's no reason they shouldn't be able to do that same thing. And that dog's full of fur. So salute to everybody. Talk to y'all. I'll be live again Monday with Raul and Danny, and then again on Tuesday for Dog Talk Tuesdays. And I'm out.